or if you wanted to also share it with friends or colleagues, etc., then that's also available to you as well. So I'm just going to check if you can hear me. Brilliant. Okay, so let's move on. So a little bit of information about us. So the University of Derby Online Learning, we are a division of the University of Derby. We're dedicated to providing degrees through online learning, and that's all that we do. We look after our students right from the very first point of inquiry right through to when they graduate, once they've completed their course. We're one of the UK's leading universities for online learning with 10 to 15 years experience, and it means that we've been able to develop our expertise, which means that that's then reflected in the learning opportunities that we provide for our students. We do have a wealth of experience, so we want to make sure that your learning experience is collaborative, that it's immersive, and that allows you to graduate with the qualification that you're looking for. Many of our programs are vocationally oriented, so that means that we are working closely with industry. A number of our courses are accredited by professional organisations, and the accreditation really is a confirmation to our students that the content that we have is up to date and it's relevant and is what you need to be able to succeed in your career. Our academic team are experts in their specific subject areas, and we have a core team of academics who are based with us here in Derby, but then we also have a wider base of online tutors and academics that are based literally all over the world. With online learning, it does mean that we can recruit experts in specific subject areas, and they don't need to be based here in Derby. They can work with you through online learning, again, just to bring their wealth of experience and their knowledge to your learning experience. And as well as an academic team, we also have a team of non-academic support from our online learner advisors, and they're really important for our students. They tend to forge really great relationships with students throughout their studies, and certainly at graduation, if you are able to come to the graduation ceremony, it's a really fantastic opportunity to meet the person that you may well have been in contact with for 3 or 5 years, depending on which course you're studying. So a choice of courses, we offer a range of courses. We do undergraduate courses, so that will cover university certificates, diplomas, and also bachelor's degrees. Postgraduate courses, postgraduate certificates, diplomas, and a master's degrees. We've also this year offered more professional development and CPD courses, which you may have seen on our website. And we also have some free courses. So these really are available to absolutely anybody, regardless of where they are or of what qualifications they have. And again, these are also available from our website. So it gives you a range of different options. As I've already mentioned, the courses are accredited by professional organisations. Here's just a few of them. Our psychology courses are accredited by the British Psychological Society, nursing by the Royal College of Nursing, etc. So, and with the accreditations, there are also other benefits. For example, for the British Psychological Society and the Institute of Hospitality, they also offer student membership. So once you're enrolled onto the course, you can apply for free student membership, and that has an additional range of benefits that are available to you to help you and enrich your studies. So, if you're studying with us, as I've already mentioned, we do have a whole range of different support that is there to help you throughout your studies, as well as the academic team and your online learner advisor. We also have an e-library and resource centre, study skills, there's an IT service centre, student wellbeing, careers, etc. And as a member, when you join our courses, you are also you're a student of the University of Derby. So if you did happen to be local, then you are welcome to come to the campus. If you wanted a space to be able to study, if you wanted to access the campus library, or you just really wanted to have a bit of quiet time away from home, then that's something that is available to you as a University of Derby student. So I'm just going to go through now a little bit more detail about the UDOL learning journey. So, and what the online learning looks like. It would be really useful for me just to find out if any of you have studied online before. If you can use at the bottom of the screen, there should be a little icon with a person with their hand in the air. If you have done any online learning before, if you could just click that just to give me an idea. Okay, so it looks like nobody's done any online learning before, which is absolutely fine. But I'm just going to go through a little bit of information just to give you some insight. So whether you have done it before or you haven't, we're here to really help you and support you throughout your learning journey. We've developed a free online course which will introduce you to online learning. So when you are still thinking about whether online learning is right for you, if you want a bit more information about the course, then we have got a guide to online learning which is available from our website. That's got a lot of information in there, which again, as you're making your decision, you may want to have a look at if you haven't already. It talks about what it is, it's got videos, etc. in there as well. So something that's quite useful for you to go and revisit. And we will share that link with you once the webinar has finished. So when you become a student with us, we've got lots of additional material to guide you through the online learning environment. We've got videos which give you a guided tour of the learning environment where you do your studies, and we call this the student portal. Now, if you've been on our website, you'll see in the top right hand corner where there's a little button there that says student login, and that's where you would access the student portal. So it's easy for you to find, it's easy for you to access, and you can always save a shortcut on your desktop computer or tablet or mobile device to make it easy to access. So this is an example of the student portal homepage, and this really is a key place for you to get information about the course you're studying and also what else is happening within the university. It's been clearly laid out so that you can find information you need in one central place. So this is the dashboard, and in the top left hand corner it gives you quick links to your university email account, the library, your grades, helps you to have an area where you can manage your password, and also your calendar. So we find that those are the most used areas that the students have asked to have shortcuts for. So as a remote student, you get access to our library, for example, and the library team have heavily invested in digital resources for students studying remotely. They also offer live webinars and help sessions to support students with their queries. Under the dashboard is a link to the program you are studying. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. There's a box there that says My Programs, and also modules and announcements. So if your course tutor has got any specific news or information they want to relay to you, then they can post announcements here in this area so that you can see it when you log into your portal, into your dashboard. And then on the right hand side, we've got information there where you can see news items, updates and things that you need to be aware of. This contains timely announcements to help you with your studies, or for example, we run live webinar sessions on using the library and study skills. So when these are coming up, we'll post announcements on there about them. One of the reasons that students tend to study with us is because they're a student of the University of Derby, so there's a recognition there But also through the student portal, we can, and through your studies, you're also, you have a network of students from around the world who you can share ideas with, that you can have insights into how maybe people working in the same profession and how things different, how things differ in different countries and situations. So that's your dashboard. That would be your home screen if you sign up for a course. So we're just going to have a look now at a couple of the tabs here. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the Getting Started tab. So when you're a new student, if you click on here, there's an online tutorial which will introduce you to studying online. And you'll use the library, sorry, it gives you an introduction. It helps you to navigate really around the student portal, because it's really important for you to be familiar and confident in using the portal to get the most out of your studies. So it's so when you start, we would encourage you to have a little play around in that area first of all, just to familiarise yourself with everything. The My Learning tab, this is where all of your learning content is held, so you would access all of your modules in this section, and we'll go into a little bit more detail about that in a moment. The University Services tab, as a University of Derby student, you can access all of the services that are available, and we do have specific services that are set up to support our online learners. For example, the library, as I've already mentioned, study skills and student wellbeing can talk to you on the phone or via Skype, so that you've still got that personal one-to-one session. And the career service, they can provide you with one-to-one support as a student. And then also once you've graduated, so as an alumni, you still have access to career support and advice up to 3 years after you leave. So, so that's an added bonus for you. The Help Centre, really, really important. We have a very large help centre. It's got 24/7 access on there, again, because our students can be from anywhere around the world, and they have frequently asked questions in there, but they also have helpful tips and guidelines on resetting your account password, information about course payments, if you wanted to take a break from studies. So it's somewhere that you can go for that initial bit of information, and then anything else you can always talk to your tutor or to the online learner advisors if you needed more information. So this, if you click on the My Learning tab from the previous screen, it will take you then through to this screen, and this is where you would access all of your learning content, all of your modules, etc. So you can see on here, it's under My Programs. That would be your degree that you would be studying here. Because it's an example, it's got 3 different degrees in there, but you would probably just see one. For example, it would just say Master of Science in Psychology, and then you would have your modules listed here. So if you had just signed up for one module, then that would be in your My Modules for the current year. And then what you can do is, as you progress through the course, any modules that you have studied and completed, you can still go back and access those. If you wanted to revisit something, then you can still go back and access all of that information. And also any relevant announcements would also be posted on here. So again, that you've got the ability to see anything that your tutor is trying to communicate with you. Okay, so on this screen, it just gives you an example really of a way that we're trying to make the online learning experience interactive. Our aim really when we're designing our learning content is to make it structured. So you've got a structure to follow, but also trying to make it interactive, engaging and social. And I'm sure that many of you are already using social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. And just like using social media, or just like studying really with your peers if you're in a classroom setting helps you learn, the same thing happens online. So when you become a student of the University of Derby Online Learning, you're joining a large online virtual community, if you like. So the facilitator of that community would be your academic or your tutor, and they would contact all of the students via announcements, either from the program screen like we've just seen in your modules, or on a module homepage. So that would be one way that they would contact you. They'll also get notifications via emails when announcements are posted live. And it's important really that you do go in and interact with the portal just to make sure you're keeping up to date, and if there's anything new that's posted there. So it's good to check it really every couple of days. And in terms of how you would interact with your peers, with other people on the course, this could be through discussion forums, it could be through other cafe forums, etc. And really with those, just as you would chat online to friends and family on social media, it's exactly the same kind of experience when you're studying online. So although it feels maybe alien or foreign to you, it would quickly become quite familiar. So the purpose of the discussions is to have a focus. Your academic will give you maybe some external reading to comment on, or you may have to work collaboratively on one of the modules. So your academic would certainly guide you and instruct you, and then give you the means to be able to communicate with other students on the course, so that you would be able to interact with learners. And again, it just kind of helps to enrich your learning experience. So our academics are, as I've mentioned before, they're experts in their subject discipline. Our academics are doing research, so they're current, they're up to date, making sure again that you're getting the best experience possible. But they're also experts in delivering online learning, because it is very different to being standing up in front of a classroom. And we have got some videos on our website that we can send you some links for afterwards, which really some of our academics are just explaining a little bit about what you can expect from them as an online learner. Where am I going next? So if you're using social media, you may well have also used live video. So and again, many of the sessions that the academics will do, if they're doing live debates, etc., they will be using the type of technology that we're using today. So it's very easily accessible to you. And anything that they do like that, they will normally contact the student, the group of students, to say that they're thinking of doing something at such and such a time on this day, give people some different options, and they will go for a date that the majority of people can attend. But if you aren't able to attend, everything is recorded, so you can still go back and watch that. And then obviously if you've got questions, then you can contact your tutor direct on a one-to-one basis to discuss or to debate things that have come out from that session. It means you can also go back and review them if you wanted to go back and refer to something afterwards. So this snapshot here is some of the learning materials from our BSc Psychology course, and one of the main questions that we get asked by a lot of students is they don't know what online learning looks like, how does it work? So what we have developed, if you haven't already tried, is some course tasters. We don't have them for every single course at the moment, but we are building up to developing them for each of the courses. And what we've done there is we've taken some of the learning content, we've put it together in a short module, if you like, and you can register your details, and it just gives you the ability to be able to go in and have a play, if you like, so you can navigate through the different options that are available there. So it just helps to bring it to life and gives you an idea of what that online learning experience looks like. And the learning materials could be a mixture of text, video, audio, and obviously if you were in a live environment, they would be interactive. But for the course taster, the interactivity isn't there, but it just shows you what some of the content does look like. We do make our learning materials accessible. For example, any videos always have transcripts, so that you can also download information. So if you were if you wanted to download a PDF or some information to go away and read either offline, or if you wanted to print it off and read it, if you were sitting on a train with no signal, for example, then there is that option for you as well. And as mentioned, you can also get access to the university library, and there you can use online journals and ebooks to support your studies. And for each module, you'll receive reading lists, and these refer to core texts, to book chapters, to websites and online journals. And you'll also have access to a subject librarian, and you can contact them again either on a one-to-one basis through phone calls or Skypes, or also they do run some live webinars to go through information with you as well. So really, this is just to say, if you did want to do one of the course tasters, if you go onto the website, on the course page, if you look on the left-hand side under the apply button, there'll be information there for the course taster. If there isn't anything there, it does mean, unfortunately, that the taster isn't available at the moment. But you can always try one of the others, even if the subject matter isn't quite relevant. It just gives you an idea of what that looks like. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the formal presentation. It is a bit of a whistle-stop tour of what online learning looks like, but again, just to try and give you a little bit of insight into that. But it does mean we've got plenty of time for questions. So if you do have any questions, then you can use the text chat facility to type them in, and we will monitor those as they're coming in and respond to you. I can see that Valerie has posted a question there asking if there is a taster for the MSc Psychology. We haven't at the moment. It is one of our priorities to get one for the MSc Psychology. We have got one for the BSc. If that helps, it would still give you a bit of a taste of what the learning environment looks like, but obviously the subject specific information wouldn't be there, but hopefully we will have one of those available within the next few months. Adwale, question, did you say we can get ebooks for each modules on MSc management? There will be, when you enroll onto the course, you will be given a reading list. There may not necessarily be ebooks for absolutely everything, but the reading list will certainly give you an idea of where ebooks are available. And we do, our library service here, I have to say, is absolutely excellent, and they will help you as much as they can. We do have an arrangement where they can share certain, so if you didn't need a whole book, they can share certain sections of books. It does vary on course to course. I haven't got the information specifically for the MSc management, but there will be, we try and make information as accessible as possible for each of the modules. So that would come through on your reading list. Do all courses require external reading? I would say yes to that. You are doing a university degree. If you're doing certainly an undergraduate or a postgraduate degree, the wider and the broader your reading that you can do, I guess the richer your that your learning and your knowledge, building up of your knowledge will be. The academics will, and the tutors will guide you in the best publications or the best books and journals to read. It's also, I guess it's down to time really as well. So, but the broader external reading, and it might be not necessarily just reading journals and books. Some of it might be researching things online as well. Again, depending on the subject area that you're studying. But yes, I would definitely recommend that. The books, will they be in large prints? I think if they are ebooks, I think you should be able to control the size of the print on that. I'm not 100% sure. So what I can do, Adwali, is I can double check that for you, and we can make sure that we get back to you on that, just to give you a little bit more information. We do, accessibility is really important for us, and we want to make sure that all of our learning materials are accessible for our students. So I'm sure that would be available certainly for ebooks. We've still got plenty of time, so do keep the questions coming. I'm just going to move on briefly just to say that depending where you are, this may be the very first encounter you've had with UDOL. You may not be 100% sure if you want to study with us, but if you do want to submit an application, then we do have 3 intakes in the academic year. Our next intake is in September, which starts on the 25th of September. And the application deadline is Sunday, the 10th of September. So it still feels like a long way away. But if you are thinking of starting in September, I would just encourage you to submit your application with as much information as you can. That will then come through to our admissions team, who will review your application. If they need more information, we've still got plenty of time for them to come back to you. Or if your application is successful, then we would come back to you with an offer, and then you would be invited to enrol closer to the term time. So it's either usually the end of August, maybe September time, that you can enrol onto the course. And it's only at that point of enrolment that you would need to make a payment. Once you've submitted your application, you don't need to pay until you've actually enrolled onto the course. But you can apply online at any time for any intake, and that will go through to our admissions team. Another question here, how do you assess the students? Are they exams or not? We don't have exams as such. The majority of our courses are, everything is assessed online. So again, depending on the modules, normally the modules might have some short assessment features in them as they go along, but at the end of the 10-week term, all of our courses, we run on a trimester system. So we've got three intakes, so three trimesters, obviously, of 10 weeks across the year. And at the end of that trimester, you would submit a piece of work for a formal assessment, and that's what you're normally graded on. As I say, some modules there might be some other grades applied to other things across the module. It really does depend on the course that you're studying. But generally there are no exams. You would submit your written work. We have a system called Turnitin, which you would submit it through, and that just checks for authenticity to make sure that it's your work. And then once that's submitted, then that comes to us for assessment. The academics review it as they would if you were studying on campus, and then they would come back to you with your grades, or they would be posted on the student portal so that only you would see those. So Laura, is there a set reading list, and could I borrow physical books from the university itself? If you're local, Laura, then certainly you could come on campus and use the library facilities there. If we have those books in stock, then of course you would be able to use those, and you would have a student ID. You have an individual ID number, and we would issue you with a student ID card that you would give you access to the library, and you can do all of that. Your online learner advisor would be able to advise you and help you on setting all of that up. There are set reading lists, and these generally are given out once you've enrolled onto the course. Okay. Okay, so Valerie, when are the deadlines for these pieces of work normally? Would this be in December or January for the term start? Okay, so so the terms run across 10 weeks. So for example, the September term, it starts on the 25th of September and that then runs through and finishes on the 1st of December. That would be the end of the 10 weeks. Then you would have a short break before the next module started, which would then start in January. So the next term then starts on the 29th of January, and that runs through until the 6th of April, and then the May one runs from the 29th of May through to the 3rd of August. So so there are set term times, but you do have little breaks in between, just to give you a bit of respite. But so you would need to submit your work at the end of each of those trimesters. Any other questions? One thing that you may be interested to know, some people want to know how much time does it take to study. We recommend for if you were doing a 20 credit module across a 10-week trimester, we recommend you allow around about 20 hours per week. So that's 200 hours in total for a 20 credit module. But if you base it on 20 hours per week, and then that some weeks it may be a bit more, some weeks it may be a bit less. It also depends on your own personal pace of study. Some weeks you may need to be doing more research. Some weeks it may be writing your assignments. Some weeks will include live sessions and tutorials. So you won't necessarily be accessing content on the student portal all the time. You may need to do some collaboration with fellow students, etc. So it does vary, but just to give you an idea of the amount of time that you need to be able to commit to be able to complete the course. And we do get asked by quite a lot of students if they can do 2 modules at a time. It's not available on all of our courses, but where it is available, it's really down to you. If you're working full time, if you've got a family, you may find trying to find 40 hours on top of everything else per week a little bit difficult. So we recommend it's best just to do one module at a time, but your circumstances may be different. You may work part-time, you may not be working at the moment, so you may have a little bit more time to be able to study at a faster pace. So but yeah, as a guide, it's about 20 hours per week. Okay, any other questions? The master says 2 to 3 years. Okay, the reason for that, Laura, is probably if you wanted to do it at an accelerated pace, then so that would be studying more than one module at a time. You could complete that in 2 years. It also depends sometimes if you've got prior experience or prior learning and qualifications, you may be able to offset some of those against the course, which is to do with your prior learning. If your prior learning has met the learning outcomes of of some of the modules, then there may be possible exemptions. But generally, if it's 2 to 3 years, then it's the quickest time that you could do it would be 2 years. But normally it would be sort of 3 years. But it depends on your pace of study. Okay, so what else have we got here? Really just to say, obviously after today, if you do have any other questions, then we're here to help you. My colleague Maureen will be able to help you with any other information about inquiries or before you make your application. Oh, I've just seen some more questions coming in. Laura, will there be a graduation ceremony? Yes, again, as we're part of the university, we have a graduation ceremony. In fact, we just had one last Friday, and I think we had about 147 graduates who came to Derby to attend the ceremony. And then also what we do, because for us, we get very excited about graduation because it's the only time we really get to meet our graduates face to face. So we also host a graduation reception. So the ceremony, the official ceremonies were in the morning, and then we invite the graduates and their families and friends, any guests that they've brought to the ceremony, to come along afterwards, join us for some lunch, and just it's a really lovely day. They get to meet other students that they've been studying alongside with on the course. You can meet the online learner advisors. Some of the academic teams are here, so it's a really great fun day. We should have some videos actually coming out soon, but there are some videos on our website and on our YouTube channel that shows you some of the previous ceremonies, but you will be invited. If you've done a master's or a bachelor's degree, then you will automatically be invited to one of the ceremonies, and they're held in July and in November, so it depends when you've completed your final assessment as to which ceremony you're invited to. Can we please have the links? Absolutely. What we'll do, Valerie, is we will send through, I think what we'll do tomorrow is we'll be able to send you the links to some of the videos that we spoke about earlier, and also to the course tasters. We'll download the recording as well, and we'll make that available to you. Certainly that should be available by early next week. So we'll absolutely get those through to you. Enrollment is available. That normally opens, and forgive me, I'm not sure how many weeks in advance it is. I think enrollment for September would normally open in August. Sometimes it's staggered depending on the courses. I don't think I've got the enrollment dates to hand at the moment, but once you've had an official offer, then you'll be sent an automated reply. Okay, sorry, Maureen's telling me it's the 14th of August is when enrolment opens for September. So it's normally, I think it'd be about 6 weeks before term time starts. But you would be sent an official email that would give you, it's an invitation to enroll. It will give you links to the system for you to be able to enroll. And that's where you would then liaise with the online learner advisors to choose your modules, and make the payment, but they would help and support you through that. Okay. If you haven't already, do follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, just to keep up to date with things that are happening. As I said before, we have lots of videos on YouTube. We've got student testimonials, graduation videos, and also some of the videos from some of our academics are on there as well if you wanted to have a look at those. But we will include some links and send those out to you shortly. But we're going to be here for a few more minutes, so if you do have any more questions, then please do let us know, and we will. Oh, there's some more questions. That's great. Are the lectures going to be as easy as this webinar? Well, I would hope so. I think if the tutors they'll be using the same system to be delivering any live lectures. They would interact with you in the same way. So it should be as straightforward as this. So yes, I'm going to say yes to that one. For the required exams and documents, could we provide after enrolment? Ask it to be provided in front. I think for to support your application, we will need evidence of your qualifications. So you would need to produce those as part of your application. And I'm sure that's right. I'm just looking for Maureen to check. Yes, she's saying that. Yes, so we'd need all of that information before we can make an offer to you. So yes, I think when you fill in your application, I would just encourage you to include as much information as you possibly can. Send in copies of your qualification certificates, etc. And if we've got all of that information, then it just helps us to make the best form of assessment that we can. Okay, more, yes. Okay, so Maureen's just saying if you're waiting to get certificates, if you haven't got everything with you and you've requested it from your university or from your college or school, then if you just include a note on your application to say that you're waiting for this to come through, then again we can take all that into consideration. We can still look at your application, and then our admissions team will just be in touch with you, and you can just send through those documents separately as an email through to us with your on top of your application. And also it's worth mentioning on the application form, it does ask you for a personal statement. It does have a word count in there, which I think it suggests about 4,000, but it doesn't mean to say that you need to write 4,000 words. That's just the actual limit. You couldn't write any more than 4,000, but I think sometimes people do look at it and think, oh my goodness, I've got to write a 4,000 word essay, and it can be a little off-putting. So you can write a short statement, make it as detailed as you want it to be to support your application, but it can just be as simple as a few hundred words. So it's just so that you're aware of that. Adwali, finally, do you need to see our original credentials after admission offer?
We need to see the originals that they send over with their application.
Okay, so we do need to see originals with a copy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it needs to be a copy of the originals. So yes, so I think whether you scan it in, if it's a good quality scan, or you can attach copies and send those over to us. But you'd need to send that. You can either send it with your application, or as I've just said, if you haven't got those at the time, you can put a note in your application, and just to say that they'll follow in a couple of weeks or something like that. Then we can do that. Great. Okay.
And once they submit the application, they'll be given an ID number. We get it, and then it will.
Sorry, Maureen's just she's just going to add in something just for information.
Hi. When you do submit your application with regards to your certifications, you will be given an ID number to say that we've received it. You will also get an auto response probably every 2 to 3 days to say that we're still awaiting the documentation. So we will be aware that you are going to be sending it in to us.
That's great. Thanks, Maureen. Okay, are there any other questions? I think if you haven't got any other questions, the kind of formal presentation has finished now. Oh, Laura sent in another question. I've been made an offer for MSc Psychology Future Study. I wanted to apply. PhD, I haven't studied with yourselves previously. I don't think so. I think as long as you meet our entry criteria, then I mean, many people have qualifications from different universities. So as long as you're meeting our entry criteria, then you can come on to the program. I suppose, I mean, many people. We do have people who start, maybe they've done a bachelor's degree and then they might come on and do a master's degree with us, or we have some people again who've done masters and going on to do PhDs. So I think it's just because they have enjoyed their experience, they're familiar with how things work, and they've built up good relationships maybe with some of the academics and the online learner advisors. So, but there is no, it wouldn't affect your application if you hadn't done something with us and then you wanted to do a different level of qualification. That wouldn't, as long as you meet the entry criteria, that would be absolutely fine. Certainly for Laura's asked, are online masters less favourable when applying for a PhD? I don't think so. I mean, our degrees are, you're still studying a university. If you're doing a master's qualification, the MSc Psychology, it's accredited by the BPS, which means it has to meet really high levels of that we have to, the BPS, we have to meet certain criteria for them to accredit our courses. So that's like having a stamp of the quality assurance, if you like, of that course. And the online courses your award would be from the University of Derby. It doesn't say on your certificate that you studied online. It does say it on the transcript, but I wouldn't say that it's, certainly for our, if you were studying with us to then go on to do a PhD, it's no less favourable because you've still studied at level 7 to get your master's degree. You've still, in some ways, studying online, some people think it's more difficult because you have to be more motivated, more thorough, to be able to do it. So I don't think so. In fact, we have a student who's been in today who is doing his MSc Psychology, and he is going on to do his PhD with us on campus. At the moment, we don't currently offer PhDs online, but I believe it is something that we are looking to develop in the future. Is there any information on preparing to study online? I think the guide to online learning has quite a lot of information in that, and I will include the link to that in our follow-up email. That has got a lot of useful tips in what you can expect, how you maybe you want to prepare. So I think that's probably the best starting point. If there is anything more specific that you would like, Laura, then do come back to us. And it may be that that's something that we maybe we need to provide more specific information, if there is that need, but certainly have a look at the guide to online learning, and if that doesn't answer all of your questions, then do come back to us and we'll happily talk through anything that you need to know. Brilliant. And I think with psychology, they do have an induction. We do have an orientation, online orientation that students, once you've enrolled onto the course, that you will have access to. And again, that gives you just, it's just about kind of getting back into that focus and that mind space to prepare you for studying. Natalie, you will probably be like the majority of our students. We have our students generally are mature professionals. They haven't studied for a long time. Maybe they've left school without qualifications, or they've been working for a long time and are looking now for a qualification to help them progress their career. So you will be with lots of people in the same situation. I think really, again, the guide to online learning will give you some information around what you can expect, really. I would encourage you to try one of the course tasters. I'm not sure if you're thinking of studying for the MSc Psychology, maybe just have a go at the BSc Psychology taster, just so again you can just get familiar with how you navigate around. And your tutors and the online learner advisors, they'll be there to help you as well, to support you through your studies, and to kind of just take away those fears, because most of our students will be in exactly the same situation. They haven't studied for some time, and you know, it's almost, you know, it's that slight fear of the unknown. But you know, if you're using social media, if you're using these types of technology, then you'll absolutely be able to cope with that side of things, and they will be able to help and guide you. As long as you've met the entry criteria for the course, then you'll be at the right level to be able to progress with the course. Jennifer, how long does it take for prospective students to receive the feedback on their applications?
So, hi Jennifer, this is Maureen. Once we receive your application, we say 5 to 10 days for us to get back to you with either an offer for you to come and join us at the University of Derby online.
That's great. Thanks, Maureen. I think at the moment we are, the turnaround time would be slightly faster as we get closer to the application deadline. Obviously, then the team are processing lots of applications. So again, that's why if you are wanting to start with us, the sooner you send in your application, you've kind of almost got all of the administration part of the application out of the way. So and then if you've got your offer there, you kind of know what you're doing, and you can almost start getting into the right mindset in preparing for studying, even down to, you know, thinking about where are you going to study at home. Have you got a specific area? Is there somewhere quiet where you can close the door away from the family? Will you be able to study at work? So it's all those kind of things as well, and you can just kind of helps you to mentally prepare for things as well. I think once you know you've got your offer, and that you're good to go, yeah, that would be, I think that'd probably be what I would do. Okay, we've just got 5 minutes left, so if there are any last minute questions, then do ask either myself or Maureen. We'll be here for a few more minutes. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Anyway, I hope it's been useful for you. And as I say, we are here if you have any other questions that you want to talk to, or if you really want something more subject specific about the course, then we can arrange for one of the academics to get back in contact with you if you've got some real in-depth questions around the subject area. Then again, if you just drop us an email, then that's something that we can arrange for you. Okay. Well, I think if there's no more questions that have been coming through, I think we'll close the session today. Again, thank you so much for coming. I hope you found it useful. We will send the email through to you with those useful links for you to have a look around. But if it doesn't answer all your questions or you want to know more, then do get in touch. And then we will send out the recording. It'll probably be the beginning of next week once we've got that live for you. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy your evening or your day, depending where you're joining us from today. And we really hope that you will consider studying with the University of Derby, and we look forward to welcoming you on our courses. Thank you ever so much. Goodbye.